this is Charlie here at Alcoa Good Times. Want to talk just for a minute about things you should check out before you go to the lake on your personal watercraft, and maybe some problems that you may run into or ways to avoid those problems. So anyway, before I ever put this in the water, I'm going to check a few things. I'm going to check to make sure that I've got the drain plugs in here in the back. The Yamaha, they're just right here on each side. Sea-Doo's the same way, there's one on each side. Also in the Sea-Doos, a lot of them will have these flush connections. That's not a drain plug connection, that's a flush connection. It's supposed to be like that. Just below it, you'll see the drain plug down here on a Sea-Doo. So be conscious of that. Also be conscious on a lot of these Sea-Doos and wave runners, they have electronic reverse gates. You don't want to put your straps across those gates because you don't want to bind those gates up and burn up the IBR motor or the iRide motor. So we'll put it straps, we'll just put them straight down to the trailer down this way and straight down this way to tie the back of the wave runner or Sea-Doo down. I'm also going to check my battery. I'm just going to make sure that the connections are tight. I don't want the battery coming loose, bouncing around. And I also don't want the battery connections to be loose because then every time I hit a bump, it'll lose the ignition and start back up, so it makes it run erratically. So I'm going to reach in here, make sure that they're tight. I've got my drain plugs. Probably right before I back it into the water, I'm going to put the key in. I'm going to start it up just briefly, just for 5 or 10 seconds. That way I know when I put my wife on it and I back her out in the water and she's flowing down river, it's going to start for her, and she'll be able to, come pick me up on the shore when we're ready to ride. Also, when I'm going to make sure put everything back together properly, put the seat on, the seat clicks. Clicks on there good, it's not going to come rolling off. When I go down the road, those are not going to bounce off. I'm going to check to make sure my gas cap is tight. I just had one of my kids filled it up for me and it wasn't tight. It needs to click. Make sure it's tight like that, because I don't want water going in my gas, get in my fuel system. Make sure my trailer's hooked up right. I've got the strap through the bow eye and the hook on the strap. I got it tight on there, and so I should be good to go. When I bought that new cover for my Sea-Doo or Yamaha, I know that when I put the cover on, I put the handlebars on first, then I put the nose on, then I'll come stretch it out the back, put the back of it on. It's a real tight fit. So those are some things I'm going to check out before I go. And when I'm riding, it's just like when I'm driving my car. I'm driving down the road and I see a bunch of boards with nails in them. When I see that when I'm driving my car down the road, I'm going to swerve to miss those boards because I don't want to get a flat tire. So the same thing happens when I'm riding my wave runner on the lake. When I see a bunch of sticks and debris in the water, I'm not going to ride right over all that junk in the water. I'm going to try to dodge it because I don't want to suck a bunch of sticks and debris and bottle top cans into my pump of my wave runner or my Sea-Doo. So you got to be kind of conscious when you're riding, especially in the springtime, because there's a lot of stuff in the water because the water levels have been going up and down around here in Tennessee. I'm also, I bought a couple of brand new skis, brand new trailer, but I'm gonna load and unload this trailer a good bit, put some miles on it. These wheel lug nuts right here will come a little loose over time. So maybe after 200 or 300 miles, I may put a socket on those and make sure those are good and tight. They will loosen up as that trailer breaks in from being, going down the road and going over bumps and things like that. I'm also going to be very conscious about where I ride. I'm gonna idle out slow past the no egg zone, and then when I get to the middle of the lake, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the power and feel it. I bought a supercharged Sea-Doo. A lot of them have break-in limiters for the first 5 hours, so I may not get all 300 horsepower on my Sea-Doo until I get 5-10 hours on it. We'll talk about it in the owner's manual because you want to read that and understand what's happening on break-in with your Sea-Doo or Yamaha, especially a supercharged model. If I see the water changing colors, so I see the water turn real light brown, I see that's real shallow, I'm going to let off the gas and probably kill the engine because I don't want to run my 180 horsepower vacuum sucking mud and rocks out of 6 inches of water. I'm going to try to just coast over that or maybe walk it across that shallow water. I want to be careful with that. I also want to be careful about who I let ride my wave runner because, I've been reading my owner's manual. I've been going through a lot of learning about it. If I loan it to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, chances are they're going to have a problem. If you do have a problem and you say you fill it up with water, and the worst thing you can do is hit the start button, because water doesn't compress. You can really hurt your engine. The best thing to do is get it up on your trailer, get it up on your lift, and take the drain plugs out, drain the water out of it, call the dealership. Let's get the machine in here, let's get the water out of the engine, let's get the oil changed a few times, and let's go through the engine, make sure everything is okay with that water-soaked engine. Main thing is when you're experiencing it, you're not real experienced, you want to stay away from other boats, you want to stay away from the shoreline, because that's where you can mess up. If you're not sure, you may panic, run into something. So do a lot of learning out in the middle of the water, out in the middle of the lake, middle of the ocean, where no one's around you, so you can learn how to manage your machine, how to manage the brake reverse right here, the throttle on this side, and all the things that go with it. And at the end of the season, you want to make sure you take care of your battery, because most of them have a lead acid battery in it. They will sulfate if you let them sit for a couple of months. It'll ruin the battery. You have to buy a new battery. The manufacturers will not give you another one. So make sure you use a battery tender on it. It's going to be sitting for a while. Make sure you're conscious of when you put fuel in it. If you filled it up and it's the middle of winter and it's 30 degrees outside, 20 degrees outside, and you filled it up to the top, and then the day that it's going to be 80, 90 degrees, believe me, that fuel has expanded and it's gone somewhere. So it's coming out your vent, it's coming out the seals. So be very conscious if you're going to fill your wave runner up to the top of fuel because you feel like that's the thing to do. Make sure you're venting it out, because it will expand as it warms up. So maybe you filled it up, it's 30 degrees outside, you put it in your warm garage, that fuel will expand. That fuel's got to go somewhere when it expands. So anyway, I hope everybody has a good Memorial Day. Hope you have a good time on your Sea-Doo, your jet ski, your wave runner. And thanks for coming to see us here at Alcoa Good Times.